To everyone present here. A warm welcome is never incomplete without warm words. It is with great pleasure that on behalf of the Department of Electrical and Electronics Engineering, New Prince Shri Bhavani College of Engineering and Technology, I welcome you all to the International Webinar Technology. I welcome you all to the International Webinar on Job Culture and Skills for Engineers in Abroad. I extend my warm welcome to Chairman Sir, Vice Chairman Sir, Director Sir, and Principal Sir to this event. A very hearty welcome to other department HODs, faculties, our students, and participants. I take my privilege to welcome our guest of honor, Mrs. Shushmita Morgan, on this occasion. I'm very delighted to introduce our resource person. Mrs. Shushmita Morgan began her career as a journalist with the Newsrights Times Behad upon completing her Bachelor's of Communication at University Putra, Malaysia. She started her own training center in 2008, certified by HRDF, and has provided numerous trainings for IT, human resources, and skill development trainings under several government initiatives and NGOs. She is currently the founder and director of Arena Edino Info Malaysia. She also holds the position as digital marketing lead in One Cloud Hub Private Limited, an Indian-based company, as also as the president of Shine Organization Malaysia. She had been awarded and received many awards. To name a few, Mike Woman Achiever Award in 2011, Malaysia Book of Record for 1000 episode presenter in 2011, Mike Media Award for Inspiring Woman in 2017, Desam Best TV Presenter Award in 2019. Hope this session will be more informative with this admirable person. Welcome, ma'am, and welcome you all again. I will now hand over the session to our resource person. Ma'am, you can have the session as yours.
Yes. Thank you so much, Associate Professor Ms. Shanthini. Vanakkam. Very good morning to all of you over there. Yes, I truly understand whatever situation that we are going at the moment now with this pandemic. Congratulations once again to New Prince Shri Bhavani College for coming up with this beautiful initiative. For this opportunity, Knowledge 4.0, Job Culture, Skills for Engineers in Abroad. Right. With that, a small introduction has already been given by Ms. Shanthini earlier. I'm a Malaysian. I've been in Malaysia for whole my life, born and bred over here, and started off at my training center as well in Malaysia. So without further ado, let me share my screen with you all so that we can start this session for today. Shanthini, I don't seem to see the sharing option now. I had it earlier. So could you please check on that, please?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sanat ma'am, are you there?
Ma'am, you just try now, ma'am. Can you please try now?
Okay, just give me a second, please. Yes. All right. So are you guys be able to see my screen over here?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. So here we are today talking about the job culture and skills for engineers abroad. I'm pretty sure that each and every one of you, while you're studying there in your university, you may have your dreams that you want to work abroad in other countries, be it in Malaysia, Singapore, any other countries that you're, with your interests. Talking about this, obviously we have many options available when it comes to Malaysia. Here we are with my company about Arena EduInfo with Ms. Shanthini mentioned earlier. We are a corporate training company over here. Been in industry for the past 10 years. We have been providing skills training for unemployed graduates, for SME employees, for women empowerment, and many other training as well. Mostly the trainings in Malaysia actually basically funded by the government, where the government will be providing the fund for the employees, for the unemployed graduates, for them to upgrade themselves in terms of skills, right? We are also into consultancy services as well. You might be wondering why engineers are basically needed abroad, or why engineers want to start their career in another country. Without even thinking further, the first thing that ever come to our mind is basically for the earning purpose. So the demand for engineers all over the world is definitely increasing in terms of numbers, and also there are many Indians who are actually moving out from India to look for their opportunity elsewhere. So basically talking about the job opportunity in Malaysia, you'll be able to see the higher pay packages, and also the jobs that they've been offered. It's far better than their own country. Being in India, I'm pretty sure that you would have gone through a lot of competition over there, because engineers are one of the main what do you call, even when it comes to the studies, or even the job opportunity availability in India. Due to the high population, you might even go through the hurdles of getting a job over there. But talking about Malaysia, we do hire a lot of Indians who is coming as an expatriate even after their completion of their studies. What I'm trying to say, even without experience, they are already here working as engineers. So engineering profession, basically, what does it teach you? You may have to be away from your family. So if you have the tendency of being independent in another country, then definitely engineers abroad are much needed. So on the other hand, what do you get, or engineers abroad? You'll be able to see the new cultural experience. New cultural experience, it can be in many form actually, where you get to travel. I mean, you have an opportunity to travel, you have an opportunity to learn about the new culture in another country. Talking about Malaysia, we are a country with 3 ethnic, where we have Malays, we have Chinese, and also the Indian. The Indian, even though we are just a 7% out of the population, but you can see, you'll be seeing Indian everywhere in Malaysia, and to the extent people will be thinking whether they are a Malaysian Indian or are they Indian from India. Just to share with you all a number. So what is the number of expatriates in Malaysia currently? Indians, we are at 150,000 people, meaning 150,000 expatriates are in Malaysia, working in many various industry, be it engineering, be it IT department, or even in media and all that. So we do have a lot of expatriates in Malaysia as well. So other than that, if you can look into a long-term career, definitely engineers abroad will have the global view when you talk about the career perspective as well. So moving on to the next, why you want to consider overseas engineering job. So if you have the plan, or if you are prepared to travel, then you may get your job elsewhere. I mean, you'll be able to get jobs everywhere in the world. So the first thing in your mind that you have to think of it, whether you want to be in abroad, you want to work in another company, the first thing that you have to ask yourself, whether I'm prepared to travel, whether I'm going to leave my parents behind over here in India and I want to be in Malaysia, I want to go to Singapore. So the first thing that should come into your mind, whether you are prepared to travel to another country. The second thing, why you should consider engineering in another country, building a global professional network. So obviously, when you work in overseas, you'll be able to meet a lot of people, that you even encounter when you are at home. You'll make an enormous number of professional contacts as well. So this is the way that you should consider why overseas engineering jobs are important. The third thing is, obviously, you need to the challenge that within yourself. To be very honest, living and working in abroad is definitely not easy, where we do get to eat our home food cook every day. But that is not a reason for you not to be in another country also. Like what I said earlier, you'll be earning a new custom, you'll be earning a new diet. Even we do have a, you may think that you are a vegetarian. It's very difficult for you to go to another country. Regardless of all that, wherever you are, if you are ready to make the changes within yourself, and if you're able to accept the changes, the environment, I'm pretty sure that you will do good in abroad as well. And being in Malaysia, to be very honest, we speak 3 languages. As a common Indian or a Chinese, they'll be able to speak 3 languages, which is Malay, English, and their own mother tongue. Even my own mother tongue is Tamil. So when the survival factor comes in, somehow or other, you'll be able to adapt to the new language as well. Even if you are in France, or even if you are in Germany, if you are working in that particular organization, you'll be able to pick up the languages as well. So these are the challenges within yourself, right? The other reason you may think, it's like a proverb, sometimes the grass is greener. This is what they say. And, you may be surprised by the people, by the way they're living in another country. Obviously, it's not easy to be in another country. But, if you look into the advantages of the country, I'm pretty sure that you would love to travel abroad too, right? This is far most important, if you are considering to be in overseas, whether you have prepared your resume or not. I'm sure that today we have students from the first year, second year, and third year. In my experience, I would advise any common student to prepare their resume in the first year itself. So how many of you like actually prepared your resume? I will ask you later during the Q&A session. By right, you should have done your resume well. Your resume will speak for yourself. So this is why we say that you have to build a memorable engineering resume which will impress the global market as well, right? This point, I'm pretty sure you would agree with me too. Traveling around the world is awesome. When you travel, you learn new things, you learn a new life. It's not just about the money, but the knowledges that you gain from another country, the culture, the acceptance, the way of living. So you'll be more open-minded and broad-minded too. Moving on to the next, which I would like to highlight here. How to land. You already have the desire, you want to work in another country, you have the passion, you want to travel, you want to try new food, you want to be away from your family. All the while you have been living with your parents, the dependency with them and all that. For the first time you're coming out of the country, you want to be independent. But how do you land to an engineering job overseas? The first and foremost that you should think, you have to decide which country that you want to go. So I think this particular period of lockdown is definitely a very good, though we know the situation is quite bad, but for those who are at home, those who are working from home, those who are studying from home, we do have more time, to even spend either on, to find something new or to learn something new, to pick up a new courses and all that. Try to narrow down which is it is not about which country that you want to go, which is my favorite country that I want to land in this country. But with your requirement, with your studies, you have to find out which country that may even have a job opportunity for you. All right. The second thing is you have to look into the job board. The idea, the right route and all that, you will be able to decide based on your qualification. If you know this particular qualification or this particular field of study is required in this particular country, then you'll be able to apply for the job as well. The third thing is, which is the most hardest, is research, and more research. There is no way, half true or, through a recommendation, you might get a job in another country or through someone else over there. Recommendation is very important, but whether you have done your own research about the particular country, about the organization, whether you fit to be in that particular position and all that, only you will be able to know. So find out everything about the chosen country, whether it's a climate, for example. There are so many people, they want to be in Canada, they want to be in US, but they can't stand the cold weather over there. So you have to ask yourself your physical, ability, whether you can be in a cold country. But talking about Malaysia, we have a beautiful monsoon over here. It's similar to India, where we have, there are seasons, like, the rainy season and the hot season and all that. It's equal like India, where you get to eat all the food as well, the Indian food, the Chinese food, the Malay food. If you were to search about Malaysia, you will be able to know the first thing ever that they mentioned about travel or tourism to Malaysia. It's all about the food. The food in Malaysia talks by itself, right? So you have to find out about the chosen country, read more local news about foreign countries as well. The fourth thing, you have to consider the language. The language is one of the main issue, that many undergraduate are actually facing now. Even this lockdown period, there are so many online courses which many companies, many organizations are providing it for free. Why don't you use this particular opportunity in order for you upgrade yourself in terms of language competency? For example, if you want to be in a country like UK, US and all that, they do have their own syllabus or the own level of language expertise that they need. It can be even Cambridge courses or any other English courses. All these courses are available online now. So it's your right time for you to pick some additional courses other than whatever that you are studying right now, in order for you to make your resume looks more beautiful in terms of language competency as well. Other than that, the fifth option over here, it's your internship. I'm not sure whether many of you are aware, but there are many students from India comes to Malaysia for their internship as well. So here, what we're trying to say that your dream to be in abroad in another country after your completion of your study, it starts way before. It is not after getting your certificate. It is not after graduation. It even start while you are studying. So for those who have, in your 4 or 5 years duration of your studies, your bachelor's or your bachelor's degree or your master's, if you have an option to attend internship for the particular duration, for example, 5 or 6 months, why don't you try it in abroad as well? Why don't you apply in Malaysia for your internship? Internship is always the right tool for someone to get into that particular company as well. I mean, to be very frank, in fact, my very first job, I got it when I was in my 5th semester of my studies, where I started my internship with this particular newspaper. It's all about how you impress yourself with the bosses, or how do you give back to the particular organization with your workload and all this thing. So if you can provide that you'll be able to work during the internship itself, then it's a great opportunity for the company to even hire you way before you are a graduate. So internship is one thing that all of you should have a look as well. All right. So we are looking at the qualities of an international engineer. What are the qualities an engineer should have? The first thing is problem solving skills. So what are we saying about problem solving? How do we solve a problem? All you need to, the main thing over here is actually think logically and apply a particular role or concept to a problem in order to solve it. So problem solving skills is one of the highest skills that needed by the engineers if you are thinking to be in abroad, in another country. The second thing obviously is critical thinking skills, where you are analyzing the strength and the weakness of the project or the problem in front of you, right? How do you think critically? This, maybe you may see a lot of thinking skills over here. The second one is critical thinking, and you're seeing the creative thinking as well. It's totally different, where you analyze the strength and the weakness. The third and the most important skill needed by engineer. You may think that I have got a 4 flat, I have all my certificate and all that. Hang on, it is not enough. Your communication skill is far more important, if you intend to travel out your country. So communications skill, basically the ability to communicate, right? It's one of the important role play in overall job career as well. The fourth thing is organizational skill, where, whatever that we are seeing today, how beautifully this particular seminar is being organized by all your, your HOD and your, associate professor and all that. So, by being a student, you should be able to know how certain things are being organized in that particular company as well. So organizational skill is very important for someone who wants to be in a multinational company. The other thing is the programming skills. All right, talking about programming skills, I'm pretty sure the knowledges that you have and all that, it's your programming skills. Coming back to numerical skills. Hey, I'm an engineer. Why do I need maths? Are you asking that? No, not at all. Mathematics skills is very, very important for anyone in any field. There are so many online courses as well now for mathematics courses, like short courses that you can attend. So pick it up, try to have another additional skills in your resume as well. Last but not least, we have this creative thinking skills. Engineers are just not problem solvers. You have to think of that, whether in a ground scale or a simple one, the solution is provided by the creative thinking. So always make sure that you think out of box, right? Moving on to our next, what we have here. Right, this is the skill set for electrical engineer. I'm sure all of you will be graduating as electrical engineers soon. So the circuit design, I'll just go very fast over here. Apply linear system theory and analysis, data collection and analysis, instrumentation and electrical measurement, power electronics, and microcontrollers. So these are the skill set needed for electrical engineer. So look into your competency, look into the area of studies that you are doing now. Do you have all these skills? Do you have this skill set in you? If you don't have, why don't you take any of these subjects as well? All right. Looking into the skill set for electrical engineer, the high demand electrical engineering focus area, right? If you look into this, I have quoted two over here. One is electrical power and energy, communication, and networks. 1 out of 10 electrical engineers are employed in any organization. I'm saying about US, 1 out of 10, they are electrical engineers. So if you want to be an electrical engineer, what are the best programming language that you should opt for? Now with IR 4.0, I'm pretty sure that you are well aware of all this: Python, MATLAB, C++, Arduino, and all that, right? IR 4.0, Arduino, Python are very, very important for an electrical engineer that you have to consider. All right. Moving on to our next, what I would like to share is about the advice and the strategies for student and the recent graduates. Yeah. Right. So looking into this, what are the strategies? Build international experience while you are still a student. I've mentioned this earlier. Look at the electrical organization and association throughout the world. You have to look for it while you are still a student. Don't wait until the day that you graduate. That is the first thing that I'll be keep highlighting again and again. This is already a time. Even if you're saying I'm in the third year now, I would say it's already too late. You should have started when you are in your first year itself. Right. The second thing is joining international student organization and spending time with foreign students. How many of you all has communication with foreign students? Or how many of you all has joined? You may have your LinkedIn, you have your Facebook, you are into your Instagram and all that. But have you engaged yourself? You may have thousands of friends. Have you engaged yourself with such organizations abroad, with engaging with the foreign student to ask them what are the opportunities available for you to be employed in that particular country? The third thing is you can join up international student for course project and learn about working in cross-cultural team. If your university is giving you an opportunity for cross-cultural, like a student exchange program and all that, why don't you write in for it? There are many universities in Malaysia are also accepting student for in this exchange program, where they send the students from Malaysia to India, where the India students comes over here, for them to learn more about their culture, to learn what are the opportunities available in here. So these are another thing that you can even speak to your HOD, you can speak to your university and to see what are the options available in Malaysia. All right, like what I mentioned earlier, you try to look for internship abroad. I will share with you what are the links available in Malaysia for this internship. We even have a website dedicated for internship where you can apply for your internship with this link as well. This is another option that you can look at. All right, I have mentioned many things about Malaysia, the opportunities, how's the, whether there is a numbers available for job and all that. What are the countries that basically that you can look for when you are an electrical engineer and you want to work abroad? There are a few countries here in the list. Obviously, USA will be in the top priority, and many of you may want to go to US, but there are also countries who are looking for engineers. You have to also be open and look for other opportunities if it's tough for you to get an entry to US. Europe, Middle East, Australia, New Zealand, Singapore, Malaysia, Japan, South Africa, and Taiwan. So these are the countries, coming to, yeah, Taiwan, Malaysia, and Singapore are the next set of countries, right? You can get more electrical engineers job. And, like even in Germany, you have a highest opportunity as well. There are many electrical engineers in Germany, right? South Africa is something that you have to look into. South Africa country have a large opening for electrical and mechanical engineering as well. US and Canada, you will have an opportunity, but tough competition. You can also look into other option available in this few countries that I've mentioned here. You can start Googling now itself, yeah? All right. You want to be in Malaysia, you want to be in Singapore. What is the job culture like, the work culture, the working hours, the holiday, the breaks, the meeting times, attending to work matters outside working hours, how all this are being applied in Malaysia. One thing beautiful about Malaysia, the work culture, obviously, it's very unique. You'll be saying, yes, we work 9 to 5, we work sometimes 6 days a week, Monday to Friday, where Saturday is our half day and all that. So working hours, looking into the working hours, the Malaysian Employment Act, of course, we have under the Malaysian Employees Act, we have to work 48 hours in a day, which is 9 to 5, or sometime in some organization, it's from 10 o'clock to 5 o'clock. The normal business hours in Malaysia is we start at 9 o'clock and we finish about 5 o'clock from Monday to Fridays, where Fridays we have a very flexible hours due to the Friday prayers. Like what I said earlier, we are with this three ethnic. If someone celebrate Hari Raya or someone celebrate Chinese New Year, we as Indian, we do celebrate too. So that's the reason why you can Google about it. Malaysia is very famous for its public holidays. The amount of public holidays in Malaysia is quite huge. Like what I said earlier, we celebrate all the festivals. So whenever there is a festival, the whole community will get a day off for that. So looking into the breaks, we have a shorter breaks, like, we don't really have like, 2 hours or 3 hours of, lunch break and all that. It's a very short break, like half an hour. Most of the organization, they have their lunch area there itself in the companies, so that, people don't really go out for their lunch hours until they have a longer period of breaks. Meeting time, this is something very interesting about Malaysia, like any other countries where the meeting will be organized by one person, and the employees will remain at their desk until the meeting starts. So the moment the meeting starts, everyone gets into the meeting room and all that. So it is not like pre-planned that you have to cancel your entire working day for you to attend meetings and all that. While you're working, you'll be called for a meeting and you have a short meetings, and you get it done there itself. So attending work matters outside working hours. This is something that Malaysia organization look forward to have an employee with them. What I'm trying to say with this, attending to work matters outside working hours. You might be working 9 to 5, but you might be servicing for some other countries as well, in your particular company. So sometime when you are asked to work after 5 o'clock and all that, there are many employees who would accept that. Having said that, obviously they will have their extra pay, or sometimes they work overtime. They have their working days on Saturday. Sometimes they do even come for weekend, during weekend, to complete whatever project or task they have. So talking about this, Malaysia has got a very flexible working hours, even in comparison with India. Even the schooling hours in Malaysia, we start at 7:45 and we are done by 1 o'clock. It's all a half a day kind of culture over here. Holidays is amazing, trust me. Next, moving on, electrical engineers in Malaysia. Whether it's in high demand, yes or no, it's a big yes, I would say. Engineering fields are high in demand in Malaysia. We do have a lot of openings from north to south Malaysia. We have almost about 14 states over here, and every state has got their own industrial area, own technology-based companies and all that. So electrical and electronic engineers, form the core of various technology-led companies in Malaysia. Like I mentioned earlier, many technology companies based in Malaysia. We do even have like companies from India which has got its base over here as well. Shortage of qualified engineers in Malaysia. Yes, we do have a shortage in comparative with many other engineering. With electronic engineering, yes, we do have a shortage as well. Engineering jobs in demand Malaysia developed by the national key economic activities. Talking about this, most of the development in Malaysia are controlled by the government. So you'll be able to see the job availability also controlled by the government. But it doesn't mean that all the jobs are only dedicated for Malaysia. Like what I mentioned earlier, we do have many expatriates. So the opportunities for you to be here are wide as well. Engineering is one of the top paid salary in Malaysia. Isn't this a good news, right? Right. Next, electrical engineers in Malaysia. What are the sector that you're looking at? There are various job designation that we can get off here. IC design engineer, firmware engineer, RF engineer, right? A software engineer, media process engineer, water wave engineer, instrument engineer, product design engineer as well. All right. Electrical in Malaysia, I tried to make just thinking what would be, if you were to work in Malaysia for a year, for example, if you only have like 1 year experience, we are looking at the salary range of 29,000 annually, which is ringgit Malaysia. When you convert it with the rupees, now we are at a ringgit is equal to 18 rupees. So it's about 5 lakhs annually. That if you have a less than a year experience, right? If you have an experience from 1 to 4 years, then you are looking at the salary of 6.6 lakhs annually. And you have experience from 4 to 9 years, you're looking at the salary scale of 10 lakhs annually. So this might excite you as well. Yes, you may receive this salary, but you're also bound to pay certain taxes in the country as well. Right. So in average, if you are to ask me, how much would an electrical engineer earn in Malaysia, an average year, plus with their bonus, with their profit sharing and all that. So we are looking at 45,000 ringgit Malaysia over here, which is equivalent to 7 lakhs annual, right? So there are a few slides over here, which we have actually came up with, the salary scale for all the electrical engineers with the different designation. You can have a look at this later, where we'll be sharing the slide to you soon. Right. This would be the senior manager. So now we are talking about the what if you are a manager and what is your salary scale like. So this is a monthly salary that we are looking at, which is quite promising as well. So obviously there are certain, engineering in electrical are paying very high as well. All right, moving on to next, electrical engineers in Malaysia. So we have the population, total population is about 25 million now. We are actually crossing about 30 million now. So estimated of engineers, we have almost about 80,000, where the ratio is 1 out of 3. So which is quite a high ratio as well. So looking into France, Germany, Canada, United Kingdom. So Malaysia, I would say that, it has got a higher population ratio when it comes to engineers. So the opportunity lies here more. All right, top engineering disciplines. All right, you're looking into a bigger scale over here. We have many: mechanical, electrical, aerospace, electronic, nuclear, software, civil, environmental, and materials, So looking into this factor, you'll be able to see the mechanical is in the top of the list, where electrical is coming up second, where electronic is on the fifth bar over here. So which I'm trying to say that electrical and electronic definitely has got the high demand in Malaysia other than mechanical engineering. Right. This is very interesting, where we have actually listed out to you all the web portals available for you to apply for a job in Malaysia. One of the top website is jobstreet.com.my. You'll be able, because even expatriate use this particular link for them to apply for job as well. We have CareerJet, we have Hired Now, Monster.com, Intern.my. This is what I mentioned earlier. If you have the interest of doing your internship in Malaysia, then this is particular portal that you should look into. All right. LinkedIn.com. I'm sure that many of you would have started your LinkedIn account, but how many of you all has actually strengthened your LinkedIn account as of now? It is not, for some of you, you may think that, I'm still a student. Let me start my LinkedIn once I've completed. No, you're wrong. You have to start your LinkedIn even when you are out of your, higher secondary school. So you should have a very good profile in your, your LinkedIn profile in order for you. It is not about impressing anyone with that profile. It's to create your connection, get into organization. You can start liking those particular companies, start sharing what you call the job opportunities available, or you can even, whenever there is a post by any companies and all that, if you have something to say about that particular business, if you have something to say about the particular job, why don't you even comment it? You never know the eyes of HR. They might be looking into your social presence as well. Rather than sharing all your jokes in your FB and your Instagram, I think the first thing a graduate should do is to strengthen their LinkedIn account. If you don't have now, start it today. That will be my high motivation to all of you. Have your LinkedIn profile. I started there, to be very frank also. For those who are looking opportunity in Malaysia, I did seek my opportunity in India as well. Even though I already have my businesses over here, I've got my things to do in Malaysia. I'm currently a consultant for an Indian-based company, which is in Chennai. I'm providing them a digital marketing consultation. I've been many times to Chennai, and in fact, I even advise them, for all those stuff, because you never know whether you'll be in that particular organization for long or not. In order for you to look for another job, your LinkedIn will definitely be a very good resource for you to look into another option, rather than what do you call, looking into a connection to get a job and all that. Might as well you have your own profile, which will be able to speak when you look for a job. All right. This other job links, which is available in Singapore, South Africa, Germany, and Taiwan. Each country, I'm sure they have a link towards the expatriate as well. All these countries has got an expatriate, and all you need to do is to find out the right link, write to them. It is not about, you may feel that I've sent out 100 resumes, but nothing reverts back. Out of 100, you never know, one might even respond to you. So try to get a resume done. The email address is very important, because we're talking about the generation Y now. Sometimes they have all these funky names for their email. That itself will give a bad impression for the HRs. And the other thing that you have to look into your resume is your pictures. Try to avoid all your selfie pictures in your resume. Try to have a proper, a passport size picture given in your resume as well. These are all the tips that you have to think of before, coming up with a winning resume, I would say. All right, so I'm actually almost done. I would like to take up the questions from all of you. I hope this session is very useful, and I'll give you a bit of motivation later after this Q&A session as well.
Thank you, ma'am. This was very informative. Hope the students will be gaining some of the points that you have consumed now.
Wonderful.
And there are a few questions raised by the participants. The first one is, if the candidate is good but needed support of communication, that is language, then how the companies support?
Okay. Like what I mentioned to you earlier, the employees of the company, if you are a Malaysian employees, you will be entitled for training and advancement. We do even like provider over here in Malaysia, we have even trained the Japanese and the Korean. So there are many small organizations or the training providers will normally engage with the company in order for them to provide this communication skills for the staff. Whether the staff is interested to say, yes, I have got a lack of this particular knowledge and I want to take it up. Sometimes even the company will bound all the expenses for this particular particular employees to get this knowledge. All they need to do is say yes and attend those particular training which has been provided by the companies.
And thank you. Second question is, how secured for an employee from foreign in Malaysia and Singapore?
How secure, you mean?
Yeah, how secured for an employee from the foreign?
All right. So talking about the security, basically, if you're coming from India and you're applying a job in another country, right, especially in Malaysia, usually the procedures, even from starting from your application, your passport, your visa processing, all that will be taken care by the company itself. And the second thing is, yes, you have the welfare within the particular organization. We do have a lot of organization for expatriates in Malaysia. So once you are in Malaysia, there are certain companies and organizations that you can become a member to. Once you become a member in this particular organization, they will speak for your rights and share all that.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. And there is another question, that is, in which field of engineering job there is more scope in abroad?
Okay, I would definitely say it's mechanical and electrical engineering. I have mentioned this earlier also. Mechanical is in the top list, but the second you will be able to see electrical and electronic engineering. So like what I mentioned to earlier, Malaysia is an industrial country, and we have a lot of factories. We have a lot of companies. Indian-based companies are here. So many oil and gas are very high peak as well. So opportunities are there in Malaysia in electrical and electronic engineering. There is no doubt in that.
Okay, thank you. And one more question. What are the key skills looked out and in high demand?
Okay. I have covered this earlier, like what I mentioned to you. Other than your certificate, other than your CGPA and all that, the communication skill, the leadership skill is something that the Malaysian organization will always look for. So while you are being in the university itself, students are required to build up their leadership quality and their communication skill. So with this too, you can just put your resume aside by you talking and impressing those HR and all that. I'm pretty sure there will be, high chance of them getting the job over here. So communication definitely will top the list.
Okay, ma'am. There are so many overwhelming questions are there. So let me conclude with 2 more questions.
Sure, okay. Definitely.
How to exactly approach a company?
Okay. Like what I mentioned earlier, once they already have their profile done, right? This particular job portal that we have in Malaysia, it's quite straightforward when it comes to expatriate. They can straight away apply where, the particular inquiry will go back to the HR. Either you'll be called up for meetings, you'll be called up for a phone call interview and all that. All what you need, the student has to do is to do a follow-up once you have applied for the job. The first thing is get their resume done, make sure they are in all the social network which is relevant to job. Social network, what I'm trying to say, it's more of LinkedIn and all that. Once this is done, and get yourself registered with this portal. You just don't try to go as a guest and you just log in and come out, just apply job. Don't try to have an account with this particular, whether it's a job street, they will be able to send you options available when you put your expectation. So I think the link that we have given earlier, I'll be able to share it later also. Let the student go back and try to apply through this particular link. I'm pretty sure they will be guided through there as well. Okay.
And yeah, ma'am, thank you. And last question.
Mhm.
And what is the demand of mechatronics engineer?
Mechatronics engineer is quite in demand as well. In fact, the salary scale is quite high for mechatronic engineers. Why I'm saying this, there are many students who is going back to India to do their degree studies in mechatronic engineering. So we even have very less courses over here, so they try to go abroad to learn about this. If there is no demand in Malaysia, I'm pretty sure the student won't go. So the demand is definitely there in Malaysia. Another thing that I want to highlight here, about job application, try not to get into so much into what you call this hunting agencies. Even if you are applying through an agency, make sure you check their credibility, because this is through experience. We have come to know that many Indians are trying to pay some sort, a big amount of money for them to get a job abroad, through the agencies. What I would advise is, straight away, if you were to apply to the company straight, it would be better than rather than going through the agencies, which might not give you the actual promise whether you will get a job or not, unless and until that particular agency has got a very strong link and the credibility to provide those services. You can opt for that. Try to do all your research before your money is being paid to this particular agencies. Right?
Yeah, thank you for your extraordinary replies, ma'am.
No
And
worries.
the last but least, the final, another one more question I got it
Sure,
just now.
sure, please.
And what is the eligibility to acquire teaching profession in Malaysia or any other foreign countries?
Okay, talking about teaching, the international schools and the international universities are actually growing in Malaysia. Since we have a lot of expatriates, they might not be able to enroll their kids in the local government school over here. As you are aware, Malaysia is providing a free education for for all Malaysian. But whereas for the expatriates, they may not have chance. They can't enroll their kids for their what you call in the government schools over here. They have to opt for international schools. This is where the role play comes, where this international universities, international schools will hire a lot of expatriates to come here as teachers, as lecturers. Even in my university, I used to have a lot of Indian lecturers, coming from India. Even in the international schools over here. For many subjects like maths, for English, for science, they are even inviting the expatriates to be a teacher here. So there is no limitation, I would say, when it comes to opportunity in Malaysia for expatriates, because Malaysia has been very friendly with India, and we have got a very good relationship in terms of job culture. We have a lot of Indians working in Malaysia.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Thank you for
Right.
good session,
And
informative session. And
uh,
yeah, I will
sure.
hand over the session to Mr. Pathas Sarathi, sir.
I
Yes,
wouldn't
madam.
mind to take up more questions if they have. Probably, yeah, you can.
Yeah,
Sure,
ma'am. Yeah.
sure.
Okay. On this occasion, on behalf of the organizing team, I consider it a great honor and privilege to propose the vote of thanks. So, first of all, our sincere thanks to our special guest, Mrs. Sushmita Murugan, Director, Arena Edu Info, Malaysia, for accepting our invitation and gracing the event by sharing very interesting and valuable information on the job culture and skills for engineers in abroad, and in spite of our very busy working schedule. So we extend our profound gratitude to our chairman sir, our vice chairman sir, director sir, and principal sir for supporting us in organizing these events. So special appreciation and heartful thanks to all participants for our active participation. I would like to thank all the staffs and student members of our college. Last but not least, I like to thank our HOD, convener, and team, without whose effort this webinar would not have been a reality. Thank you, one and all. Thank you, madam.
Thank you, sir. Mm, Now I request all the participants to turn on our video to have a photo shoot.
Ma'am, can we stop screen sharing,
Yeah,
ma'am?
yeah, ma'am.
Smita ma'am, can we stop screen sharing?
Screen sharing. Just give me a second. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. Participants can please turn on your videos.
Ma'am, is it done?
So once again, I would like to wish all the best to all the students here, for your job search abroad. Yeah, basically, it's not about just not about job search. It's more of a life fulfillment with the new adventure in another country. Always remember that your life begins at the end of your comfort zone. So come out of the comfort zone, look for new opportunity. Your mom and your dad is always there, but opportunities like this, you might not be able to get it when you are 50, right? So travel as much as you can, as far as you can, as long as you can. Life is just meant to be lived, not in one place. So go and learn more and more each day. Wishing each and everyone here a wonderful day. Please stay safe over there. Let's together we'll fight this COVID. Yeah. Have a wonderful day ahead. Thank you. Vanakkam.
Thank you, ma'am. Yeah. So shall we end the session?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.